Hi, I'm Roger Travis, and this is the first lecture of my course, Classics and Ancient Mediterranean Studies 1103, Classical Mythology.
In this lecture, I'm going to be introducing you to the Odyssey and to its relationship to the themes of the course as I've already started to lay them out in the introduction. Now, obviously, the Odyssey is a work of classical mythology. It came from a time that was part of the classical period and developed even before that in the period that we call the Archaic period. And it has stories in it that we consider to be clearly mythological stories, whether you're talking about the more conventional perspective of classical myth as those things that are supposed to describe the kind of fantasy past or supernaturally infused past of the ancient Greeks, or you're talking from the newer perspective that I introduced in the introduction, things like cultural truth value and the Rudy thing. But in any case, the Odyssey as a text for us to use in this course is wonderful in a large number of ways. Above all, because of the way that I think the Odyssey is, in fact, actually about what it means to be a myth, what it means to be called to be a person who is greater than what somebody thought they were going to have to be. That is, what it means to feel like you have to be a hero, as we all do, I think, feel from time to time. And when we start the Odyssey, the first word that we see is a word that seems, perhaps on the surface, to go against the mythic nature of what we think this text should be about. The first word of the Odyssey is Andra, and the way the Odyssey starts is Andra moyene pemusa polutropon hos malapola plankte epe troies hieron ptolietron eperse. I hope you noticed the rhythm there. That rhythm is called dactylic hexameter. It's the meter of all epic poetry in the ancient world, and we'll talk a lot about it as we go on. But for now, the most important word of those first two lines is the very first one, and that word is Andra, and Andra means man. It's a root you may recognize from words like androgyny and android. And what it says at the very beginning of this great epic work, the work about the heroic past, is that this work is going to be about a man, an actual human being. And Odysseus, throughout the entire epic, unlike a lot of the other heroes in the epic tradition, is clearly human. He does not have a divine parent the way Achilles does. And he has to make his way home based only on his normal human skills. And his normal human skills, we'll see, are quite exceptional and make him a very special kind of guy. So when we hear at the start of the Odyssey, "Tell me, Muse, of the man of many ways who was driven far journeys after he had sacked the holy citadel of Troy," we know we're talking about a man who has participated in mythic events, the events of the heroic age, the events of the Trojan War, and yet for all of that he is a man who has to make his way home as a man. And the reason that all of this is worth talking about is that the Odyssey itself has decided that it is going to talk about what it means to be a hero who has stories told about him. So when we move a little bit further on into Book 1 of the Odyssey, what we're going to see is that whereas we haven't met Odysseus yet, Odysseus is still out on the sea trying to get home, we are going to go and see what is going on at his home on the island of Ithaca. And one of the things that's going on is that people are telling stories about him.